How it's handled is where the crime kicks in. Because when you handle it the way that the Trump administration is handling it, we want the most qualified, we want the smartest, we want this, we want that. What you're really saying is, we want white dominance again. That's what you're really saying. You want white dominance. Because if you're pointing to DEI, and that's usually pointed towards quote-unquote unqualified minorities, because you're always using the word qualified, as if everybody that got a position through DEI is not qualified. We know what you're implying. We know what you're insinuating.
Okay, you actually said about DEI, what you're really saying when you talk about DEI, what you're really saying is we want white dominance again. Let me put up on the screen, and this was first instituted, as it relates to the FAA under Barack Obama. Their diversity push includes focus on hiring people with severe intellectual and psychiatric disabilities. Now, Stephen A., you fly a lot. Do you want people with intellectual and psychiatric disabilities in that control tower?
Not at all. Not at all. And by the way, quote me accurately. I can't.
You ever say checkmate? White dominance. You sound like a black DEI hire. You know what Stephen A. sounds like? A person with intellectual and psychiatric disabilities. That's what he sounds like.
I don't know how many times I have to tell you this. Quote me accurately. My issue with the eradication of DEI was not that on its premise. It was the explanation that the Trump administration and others were giving about it.
Well, how can you criticize that program without calling out the blatant racial discrimination behind that? You're picking people just because they're black, just because they're gay. How can you criticize that without calling that out? I know. You have to. You have to call it out. You have to address the elephant in the room. Yeah, but he can't say that. Yeah, but he can say he wants white dominance. Double standard. Yeah.
I don't want to hear DEI automatically being about people who happen to be minorities that are unqualified. That is what I was saying. I said it's one thing to get rid of it altogether. It's another thing entirely to articulate and verbalize the position that, excuse me, everybody that was associated with DEI are unqualified individuals. We don't want unqualified individuals, particularly in public safety. I'm saying that's how people are coming across. That's how people. Of course, we agree on it. Of course, we agree on it. But when you have somebody like Hegseth, well, for example, let's use him because he was speaking about your former colleague at Fox News. Hold on. That's not a defense secretary. Excuse me. Listen, I respect. Listen, I'm not bringing up anything personal. I'm simply saying, my God, Sean, when you're talking about people who are unqualified, I wish him nothing but the best. He served our country, in the military. I get all of that. But when you are weekend host on Fox News, and now you're the defense secretary of the United States overseeing 3.5 million people.
Let me ask you, did you serve in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Gitmo?
No,
did you go to Harvard? Did you go to Harvard? Did you go to Princeton? Yeah, no, well, he's certainly a pretty intelligent guy, so I would say.
I didn't say he wasn't intelligent.
Why don't we give a real soldier
Oh, he's intelligent, but he doesn't have the qualifications to handle that job. Yeah, I'm telling you, Stephen A. has got intellectual and psychiatric disabilities.
Opportunity. All right, I got another.
That's fair.
All right, one thing I'm not qualified for.
But say that.
I just said
it. Man, I don't get Stephen A. He's thinking he's looking at he's looking at this. He has the perspective of a black man. He just needs to look at it just as a person. Try to forget color for just 1 second. Yeah, don't look at it as a white man. Don't look at it as a black man. Just be an objective, rational human being. Yeah, but the problem I have with Stephen A.'s argument is just he's not providing us with a metric or a standard to measure if someone has qualifications for that job position. Yeah, it's just an opinion. Yeah, he's pretty much saying Donald Trump picked him because he's white. Exactly. But when Hannity pointed out his qualifications, his education, his experience, I mean, you shouldn't have to say anything more. Yeah, he's well qualified for that position. Yeah, he's calling out Trump, saying he's doing away with DI because he wants white dominance. But then calling Trump racist. Right. But he on the other end is being racist towards Pete Hegseth. Yeah, because he's cherry picking the data. He's a weekend host. He's a lot more than a weekend host on Fox.
Well, based on his experience, just because he was a weekend host on Fox News does not now disqualify him from that position.
Yeah.
His qualifications merits that he can do that job.
Yeah.
Look at that face. Look at that.
White man just, look how confident the white man looks.
Yeah, all this white privilege.
Yeah, and look at Stephen A.
You
Black and defeated and confused.
Right now, you look like a DEI hire.
You look like someone with psychiatric and intellectual disabilities.
These two guys are actually friends, I think.
Yeah, they're probably good friends. And I bet white man's like, man, guy's so bright. I don't know why he's having probably picking this up. But Stephen A is trying to say the only people that's getting the minorities is being picked. They're being picked because they're black. He's trying to say they're not all of them is unqualified.
Well, okay.
If that's your argument,
say it.
Then did these people get these jobs simply because they were that skin color? Because to say someone's unqualified, if somebody was better qualified, you can automatically call that person who got the job because of his race or his skin color or his gender or his sexuality unqualified because you had to pass up somebody else that was more qualified.
Yeah, when we think of DEI, I think of those female Secret Service agents when the president was shot at.
Yeah.
Couldn't holster a gun.
Yeah.
She looked like...
They looked lost.
They looked lost.
They didn't have the stature to do that job.
Yeah, those are DEI hires.
Yeah.
That's what and they're white.
Yeah, yeah. But they're female, makes them a minority.